Everyone, it's Storm here, bringing you guys another First Descendant video, and we've got the hottest build in town today, baby. We've got Serena. I'm going to talk about Serena's skills, 3 different builds I've made for her and tested, what weapons I'm using on each build, external components, Reactor, and Inversion Reinforcement, as well as a little bit of the Arche Tuning. All right, and headed over to the Descendant module spot where we're going to first talk about Serena's skills. As I mentioned, she's a new Descendant. This is my first actual build guide. I had my prediction build guide out where I went over this, but just in case you didn't see that, let's talk about it now. So, right here, the first ability, Sacred Flame, fires flames in the direction of the crosshairs to deal damage and inflict repentance on enemies, granting allies blessing. Repentance acts as the same as burn. Firearm attack against enemies inflicted with repentance have a chance to recover rounds for the firearm in use, which is super helpful if you do use that. Additionally, when an enemy hit with repentance is killed, inflicts repentance on nearby enemies. Flames pierce terrain when used on the ground and explode when colliding. Oops, there we go. When colliding with the terrain and fired in midair. So this has a base skill cooldown of 15 seconds, MP cost of 18, damage. This one does scale off of skill power. Again, we're not using that in most of our builds, but do note that it is there because in one of their builds, we will use that. It does have range that you can go up to 150% on. And Repentance has a duration of 10 seconds at base, skill power times. It'll be much higher if you build into skill power for it. Then continuous damage intervals of 1 second, fire resistance, which is really nice if you are using fire rounds or just in general. Round recovery and firearm attack, 10% chance, round recovery 3%. Effect propagation range on death. The radius is 7 meters of it. So max expandable range is 150%. And if you bless your teammates, it has a base duration of 8 seconds with a max MP times 6% per 1 second to heal them. Then let's go over to Ascension. Now, this is the bread and butter of every single build. This is what really helps you get the thing going. You're going to be floating all the time, and it really helps activate her passive, which is Divinity. Serena gains an additional stat bonus when firing from midair. So when you're in midair, your attack increases by 45%, explosive attack increases by 45%, your accuracy is 30% better, your recoil is 30% better, and damage reduction while airborne is 15%, which is fantastic to have that base damage reduction. Then coming back over here, greatly decreases gravity while the skill is active. Firearm attacks while in midair have additional effect depending on the rounds in use. However, jump and grappling hook charge times have been adjusted. So here we go. Basic info. The cooldown, 3 seconds at base. MP cost is 10 at base, continuous MP 9. Gravity decreases 85%. So you don't really necessarily jump, but you do float up and then you slowly fall down, which is really nice. Grappling hook charge time is 100%. Then, so it takes twice as long to get it back. General rounds in addition, multi-hit chance is increased by 50% and the damage is increased by 50%. Impact rounds, attack drop-off range is 30% longer, and critical hit MP recovery gets you 12% of your max MP. So this one could be a great one if you're using a hand cannon to, essentially eliminate MP collector or go with a little less MP because you can handle it in the air. Special round effects, surrounding AoE damage, firearm does 150% of it. Damage range is 10 meters at base. Target count is 20 enemies, excluding the target. And max expandable range for this one is 150%, so you can make it bigger. High-powered rounds have additional firepower off of skills. This, however, doesn't seem to be working right now. I've heard other people say it's not working as well, so I wouldn't build off of that, but it still is a really fun thing to use to just honestly rain death from above. I still am using it occasionally. So let's go on over to Soar. This is my favorite move in her kit because when used on the ground, Serena shoots into the air. So this is a good way to get up higher, faster. When used in midair, Serena moves quickly in the direction of the movement speed and reloads the currently equipped weapon. She also reloads right off the ground as well, just so you know. Additionally, Serena's number of jumps is reset. Holding down the skill key increases the distance traveled. So you can go up a little, or you can just hold it and go further. Now, maximum stacks, you start with 3. A stack cooldown base is at 15% with an MP cost of 10. surrounding AoE damage on the ground. This is nice because it also does knock them back. So if you're on the ground and you're like pushing an enemy back, then you can shoot him easier as well. Damage range is 3 meters, max expandable range 200%. Surrounding damage on the ground is based off your skill power. This one, as I mentioned, is not something you're ever going to specifically build off of, I don't think anyways. Damage range is 5 meters with a max expandable range of 200%. And this move is what I was expecting to build my build off, and this is what it is all built off of. It did turn out that it was that, but my modules turned out completely different because I thought I was going to be using more of that rocket launcher damage, but turns out the last dagger is still reigning supreme for me. Let's talk about the cooldown here of 110. So that cooldown, easy to knock down with cooldown mods because it starts out so high. So when you take a percentage off, it's a big chunk. MP cost is 60. So again, you want to take that off. Effect from the ground is 30 meters. And then Prayer of Redemption. Duration starts out at 5 seconds. That's super low, hard to make it high, but we almost got it doubled. Base stacks of 5, damage reduction per stack is 18% per stack. That is huge. So a fantastic way to support your team. Stacks removed on hit is 100%. Stacked removal HP recovery is every time you get hit, so it's 12%, and MP 12% as well. Redemption is Judgment. This is what I have primarily done everything off of. So duration, I got all the way up to 23%, which you can see my cooldown is 20.8%. So this is always up, and I have a little time, 3 seconds roughly, after it comes off to get it back on. Additional AoE damage on firearm attack. So you do ranged attack, which is very nice. Additional AoE damage chance on firearm attack of 100%. Additional damage. Firearm explosion damage is X damage multiplied. Damage multiplier, max HP times 8.8%. So when I talked about this in my prediction video, I talked about how whenever you like scale HP with damage, it just makes a character so insane, and it has just done that. Serena is so tanky and just so strong that you build so much in HP and it just crushes everything. Max expandable range of 200%. All right, you guys, let's head over to my first build here, Shot Focus, what is pretty much going to be the build that I use for most things in the game. All right, you guys, so we've made it over to my first build, where this is the build that I use for a majority of the content. I use it for the Sigma sector, I use it for 400% dungeons, and I use it for the Void Erosion. I know you see Void Erosion on the other side there, but I tried making something a little bit different, but it turns out it ended up right back here. And I just think this build is so fantastic. So let's talk about everything on this build. We're using Shot Focus to get that extra firearm damage, as we are doing all firearm damage here. We aren't really using skill power at all, so knock it down as much as you want. The most important thing on Serena is going to be cooldown. So I took MP conversion, nimble fingers, and this focus on singular here is specifically for the cooldown. Right here, we have a base cooldown of 110, and I got it all the way down to 20.8 seconds. Next, I want to talk about how I increased my duration on the Prayer of Redemption. So it started out at 13 seconds, and I got it all the way up to 23.6 seconds with maximized duration and skill extension. Now, the other part about Serena is you are constantly mana burning while you're in the air with your ascension. So you're floating up here with that gravity. This is a constant MP burn. You want to have as much skill cost reduction as you can. So I have maximized conversion here. Again, it's taking away my skill power modifier, but I don't care. I'm not using it. And strong mentality here, even more help with that skill cost. When MP collector comes back and works, I will then put that back here because I won't need all of that extra MP. And if it works anything like it does on Bunny, I potentially probably could even get rid of maximized conversion and have two new mod, or an extra mod here. But in the meantime, this is what we have, just because MP collector is broken, so I'm not scaling off of that. We're not using it. Then I want to talk about over here. So we've got HP amplification and increased HP. Why do we have two HP mods? Because, as I mentioned in the skills, her multiplier for this damage goes off of her max HP. So the higher you can get that max HP, the more damage you are going to do. So let's go back to the home screen where we can talk about the guns I'm using for this build, the external components, the reactor, and the Arche Tuning, as well as the Inversion Reinforcement. So primarily I am using the last Dagger. This is because I just got done with Void Erosion, so I was using the chill attack, then firearm attack. This isn't even the most perfect one. I would like another fire ray, but it's just what I'm using for now. Then I have the restored relic. This is nice for clearing out the mobs. If you get into a big room and you have a second, you just want to clear them out quick and then go to the last Dagger. That's great. I have primarily just been using the last Dagger, and at the boss at the end, I take this out quick, destroy the mobs, and then I get right back to shooting at him. So for external components, you want to get as much health as you can. And the nice thing about this one is the Ascending Armory. I didn't think I was going to need to use it, but it turns out ammo consumption while you're in the air is huge. I think it's super necessary. So this is my #1 choice for a mod on Serena right now. I love it as well because look at here, max HP, max HP, max HP, and max HP. Now, I know that you can grab higher HP if you really wanted to build into that, but I just love that armor. And I love the 4 set. I love the extra bullets and everything like that. I love the extra skill cost reduction. It is so huge to have all that. On this reactor, I prefer to have max MP and MP recovery out of combat, but I only got the good max HP, so that's what I'm taking for now. On this one, I would love to have gold MP recovery in combat and then max MP, but I haven't got those yet, so this is what I'm using for now. Over here, I would love to have MP modifier and defense. I think are kind of like what I would prefer the most on this one. Let me know if you think of something different, but that's kind of what I would like. Then down here, you want max shield for a build later. I like it anyways, just to have that extra stuff, but it really kind of doesn't matter for that one if you aren't scaling off of the boss mod that I'm going to be telling you about later. So over here, the reactor does not matter, but what you want is either skill cooldown and skill cost, or skill cooldown and skill duration. I think are going to be the best mods for Serena. Let's go ahead, look at my Inversion Reinforcement here. So this is going to be nice when I get this extra damage, but I don't have that yet. So right now I'm just taking that Neural Focus to get my max MP higher. The last thing I was fighting, was the Defiler, the new not Defiler, the new boss. I had Toxic on for him. For this build, I would have on the chilled rounds, and then I would switch it back out if I was fighting any electric boss, or just put it on whatever content I'm doing. Then right here, this one is crazy, and I knew the season was always going to have a crazy one. They always do. When airborne for at least 2 seconds, which is 100% of the time with Serena, pretty much, you get 100% chance on your multi-hits. So when not airborne, it's removed, but then you just get it right away after you're in the air for 2 more seconds. So this one is crazy, really helps that damage scale really well, especially how high multi-hit is scaling in the game right now. It's just insane. So Arche Tuning for this one, I am using the skill cooldown. Then I'm going right here to get towards that max HP. Then I'm just going to be grabbing as many HP mods as I can to help scale her damage even higher. All right, you guys. So I'm going to talk about the next build that I have in line. And that build, I would use the same weapons, reactor, external components, and this Arche Tuning. So we're going to head on over there and take a peek at that while we're here. So let's head on to those Descendant modules. And let's talk about the support build here. So on the support build, it is practically the same as my shot focus build, but I put this on and it actually ends up working out really well when you're with a team. So if you are with a team in a 400% dungeon, you can put this on and get massive, massive fire attack or firearm attack from your teammates and just like really, really crush the battle. And you're going to be getting that all the time with this module up because you're always buffing their movement speed when they touch it. So again, I just removed the skill extension to be the passionate sponsor there. I still have some extension, but with that said, let's get into the skill build where this one, we will be changing some stuff up. So let's head on over to Divine Surge here. All right, so here we are over on Divine Surge, and let's talk about what Divine Surge does. So it replaces your 4th ability with Divine Surge. Quickly flies forward and knocks back to deal damage to enemies within the path. Additionally, creates a purifying blaze along the path and deals a large amounts of damage, inflicts repentance on targets hit by the purifying blaze. here we are. So it has a max stack of 3, a stack cooldown base of 25, MP cost of 30, then collision damage, massive collision damage. So the first hit does do a lot of damage. Landing damage, even more. Collision damage range starts at 8 times 6, but could go up higher. Landing 6 right there, max expandable range of 250%, so you can make that flame real big on the ground. Then let's talk about the duration of the Purifying Blaze. It's 8 seconds. Damage range is going to be 8 by 6 meters wide. You can obviously increase that range. Then we've got damage at skill power times, and this one is using skill power, so you just get as high as you can, 87.6%. Damage interval of 1 second dots, then max expandable range of 250% again. Then Repentance is duration of 10 seconds, skill power times 8.5%, continuous damage interval of 1, fire resistance decrease. So it's in there and it's decreasing their fire resistance. They're going to burn even faster. Round recovery on firearm attack is 10%, and round recovery at a 3% rate. So that is huge, that it just does make it a lot easier while you're shooting, although you're not shooting as much with this build, so less important, but nonetheless, it is kind of cool that it is there. So that is going to be our Transcendent module on this one. So we're going to use Focus on Fire and Focus on Singular. This is for that skill cooldown, but also for that damage. I then decided to use Fire Amplification for a little bit more skill power. Amplification Control for some more range. The shield is a bonus, but I did it more for the range without having to reduce my skill power modifier. Then I used the basic skill expansion, so we could expand on that, make it a bigger area, so you're just hitting everything more often. I use Strong Mentality for skill cost reduction. Not as important, but it is nice on this build. This one you could easily switch out because you're on the ground a lot. If you wanted to get rid of it and do something else, right, this would be the first one you get rid of. Then MP Conversion and Nimble Fingers to make it so you can just spam this unlimited. You have it all the time. Multi-Talented is really nice because you are going to be getting that Dimension skill active for 20% more cooldown. And when you're using a Singular, which is all the time when you're flying, you are going to get more attribute damage, 30%. Only one effect can be applied. Then I just did the 1 increased HP mod in this one because we lost our 4th ability. We no longer scale off of HP, so that is why I decided to make that decision. Next, we are going to go here because we have a little bit of a different build on the exterior. I just have this gun on because Secret Garden on because it is going to match my reactor. So I was a little cheap to upgrade it all the way, and it wasn't my favorite role. But what I ideally want on the reactor is skill cooldown and singular damage would be my favorite role, or singular and fire. But I think just the extra skill cooldown is really, really nice here. So again, weapon doesn't really matter on this one. You're kind of just burning everything, but that means because we are going back to skill power, good old Slayer set is coming back for us. So right here, you're going to want max HP and MP recovery in combat, max MP and MP recovery in combat. I rolled really well on that one. I got really lucky. Slayer memory, I do MP recovery modifier and then the gold increase, which is really nice. And on here, I just did the equipment drop rate just so I could get more material while I'm farming with this build, because this is most likely the build that I'd use for fast farming, just because it does just dive bomb, come back up, dive bomb, kills mobs really quickly. You could also use Decimator on this build, and I feel like that would work really quick, but I just feel like everything already dies so fast, so not that needed. All right, you guys, let's go talk about our last build. We're going to go find it in the presets here. The boss badge. All right, we've loaded up. We have a new outfit too. So let's go ahead and get into her modules. All right, you guys. So starting out with the modules, we just went real heavy into scaling off of her damage multiplier of that max HP. So what did we do here? So of course we brought that shot focus just like I had on my original build. Then I just wanted to get my HP as high as I possibly could, because I went with overwhelming HP, which fixes my shields at 1 but increases my max HP by 19.8% of max shield. The increased HP can be further increased by other buffs. So here is what we did. We took increased HP and stim accelerant. Now, yes, I know typically with this build, max MP is so important, but because we're going to be literally almost one-shotting every boss, one clipping, I'm using the Dagger, if you were to use the new sniper or any big thing like that, you are going to one shot. I like the dagger. I just love to fly around with it, but I'm still one clipping every single boss in the game right now. Then, right here, and I actually don't even have that great of a dagger for the newest boss, and I still just killed him super quickly. Not one clip, but it was a very quick kill. Then weighing the skills here is going to give us more max shield and reduce our skill cost. So that was kind of a win-win. I love that one. Time distribution. So skill cooldown. Our skill cooldown is a little bit less, but honestly, we don't even need the cooldown. I did it so I'd get this extra max HP of 52.4%. And we do have that skill cost right here to help us out a little bit with that. And so we can fly around a little bit longer, not worry just in case it doesn't go right away. Amplification control, the range does not matter at all. I did it for more max shield and then increased shield right here. So wherever I could, I got shield and I got HP. So that was my main goal, to just get that as high as I possibly could. And then right here, accelerated drive shaft. When rolling, fire rate increases by 20% for 5 seconds at a 15% chance. So you just start rolling once the Colossus spawns, and then once you get it, you fly up, boom, you hit him in the weak point, and you crush him. So let's go ahead and go over what I am using for guns, and as you can see, I've got a dagger for every single occasion here. Let's go ahead and take a look at the dagger. Now, note that it does change for whatever thing I did last. So right here, doing the boss, the new Abyss boss, this is what I like to use. I like the toxic circulation. I know there's the weak point, ultra precision strike, where you could kill it a little bit faster, but just in case you don't hit it, this one's really nice to have on there. Firing Fiesta. This makes it so you really don't consume that many rounds, because you get 3 full seconds to just fire off. And that is so effective with this build, because you just can reload while you're in the air zooming around with Serena. Then I built all off of crit and weak point for this. So I went a little bit of toxic, then I have aiming, weak point sight, concentration, action and reaction, rifle and reinforcement, of course. Then I would just use one of these other ones. This is my invasion or erosion one. I did this one on the erosion because I wanted that extra chill circulation. I spray and pray, so I don't want to be thinking about weak points as much, but if I'm right up in their face, it is great. And I also just have this one if I end up doing a boss, like for any other chill boss. So again, come on out of here. Then we are going to talk about the inversion reinforcement. So we're going to go hunt here. This I would switch over to the toxic for that guy. And then right here, our aerial maneuver to get that extra multi-hit chance. Then we're back to the Ascending Armory set. I like this one just because it's easy to switch back and forth. I mean, if I was doing this with anything other than the boss, or I do decide to change it off of one hit, it's just easier to go to. You could remove this one and get a higher max HP, and you could get like 646 as well for this one. But I just went with the 44s. It's simple. The cost is nice. I still like the extra supplies just in case I need them. And then the reactor doesn't matter, but you want skill cost and skill cooldown on this reactor. Again, just in case something doesn't go your way, then you have that little extra cooldown and that skill cost, so you can just finish the boss and move on from there. So our Arche tuning for this one does differ from the other two because I went all into HP right here, got that HP, and then I'm also going over for the shields, because remember, if I'm getting more shields, then that's also going to be increasing my HP for this build. Now, for the end of the video, I'd like to just take you through a quick Void Erosion with a step-by-step. Not a huge video, but I'm going to cut for the first part, then we'll hit the boss at the end just to kind of show you guys how I'm using this build and how it's been super effective for me. And I'm going to give you one option to change here. So for the Void Erosion build, if we went back to that real quick here, what I would change out if you are struggling is I would take out the skill cost. You're going to be on the ground a little bit more, and you could put on this one, because it would have an X there for you as well. If you followed the rest of the build guide on one of the other ones, it would be HP collector. So that way you just have that there for you. You're killing enemies. You never have to worry about your health. It's just always coming back to you. That would be my one recommendation if you want to be a lot more safe with the build, to make sure. But she's pretty tanky, but you never know. You might need it. So it is there for you if you need it. And that is my suggestion. Let's head on over to the Void Erosion and check it out. You guys, so we've arrived in the Void Erosion, wave 30. I'm going to show you the best way to do it here. So open your wings right away. You're going to fly. You're always going to try and hit your 4 when you're not in view of enemies. Obviously, if you're flying, you are going to get that extra damage reduction by 15%, but it's better to not do it. During these spots, you're going to run under, then fly up. You're going to shoot right away, get right out into the open, and as soon as you have that ability to keep shooting, you're going to do it. Then come down to the ground whenever you need to get MP, and then come back up, start shooting again. You're trying to shoot as much as you can when you are in the air, but as you're going to see in a second, sometimes it just makes sense to shoot them on the ground and then come back up, get right back to shooting here. The Dagger is so good because it's got that multi-hit added. You can see I'm shooting 1, and that damage is just going all over to everyone, just spreading around because of my 4th ability. Then we're going to come on here, we're going to do this, we're going to get this guy here, and then we're going to push on to the rest of the dungeon. But I'm going to stop here, and I'm going to bring you guys right to the boss battle. I'll see you over there. And here we are, you guys. We're about to kill the final mob right before the boss spawns. So let's make it happen. I kill that little guy right there, and we are off. Grab my MP. Again, I am not using MP collector because it's not working correctly right now. And I'm not using HP collector, so I'm always trying to maximize when I can. As you can see, I'm trying to spend as much time in the air as I possibly can. I have a lot of MP reduction on for cost, so you can see my MP is like not going down that fast, which is fantastic. Then, right when the mobs spawn, you're going to pull out your rocket launcher, hit your 4, make sure it's up if it's not already. Then you're going to kill the mobs. Once the little guys are dead, switch back to your Dagger here and go for the final kill. Whenever you need to reload, as you can see, I'm always dashing around, so I'm always getting that reload on me. Dash, dash, dash. Boom, 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 boom. All right, there we go. And again, I'm getting low on health. I don't have HP collector. I go for the health, try to find it. And I got lucky there and I got it. But if you want the safer build, this is where you are going to want to switch on to that HP collector, because he's got mobs consistently spawning. So you're going to have a pretty good chance of getting that HP back. And there we are, you guys. Just like when I did my Glade build, I actually got my best time again. So let's take a quick peek at it here. For me, I was happy with this. And for the last part of the video, friends, I have dropped us into the Abyss battle. Now, keep in mind, my Dagger is not perfect. I didn't farm it beforehand, so I just got enough to make it a 4. And then I have like 12%, I think, increased fire rate, and that's it. But here we are, just crushing. Serena is so strong. Like, she just knocked him out right there, and that is with not even close to a maxed out Dagger. I've seen people doing it for like 2 seconds, which is crazy. So she's crushing it. All right, you guys, there it is. Let's head on back to our host in Albion. All right, you guys, we made it through the Void Erosion. We made it past the Tormentor. Now, I hope you guys enjoyed this video on the hottest girl out there, Serena. She is just crushing it right now. So let me know what you thought of the video. Is this helpful? Did you like the format? And as I always say, hit me up in the comments, ask away, have a great day. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye. All right, here we go. Prepare for takeoff. Yeah. All right, you guys. Bye for real. I'll see you in the next one.